you. Books.
Gurudev, Father has a question.
Yeah.
What does Nia Metan mean?
What does what mean?
This word here.
Oh, what I wrote?
Yes.
Whoops.
Oh.
What I wrote, it means nice.
Oh.
Yeah, so the E is sort of squeezed there. Nice letter, yeah.
Nice letter.
Yeah.
Oh, city of the Oh,
We've got that.
Pays to be prepared.
We've got everything upstairs.
Yeah. I just
Whatever
been
cable combination you need.
Okay, we got it.
just using our Chaitanya Prabhu's.
All right, everybody in line, just be patient. We'll be starting in a second. Okay, we can chant now at least. While you're setting up.
Yes.
Okay, Jaiva Dharma. Where'd everyone go?
They ran away.
Yeah, they're scared of the philosophy, isn't it? If they have to surrender to Krishna, it's really bad. It means they have to listen to the guru. Oh my God. Ooh. Actually, that's hard for me because then you're too close to me.
Oh.
Yeah, because I got a glare if I
Sorry
look
to
at it. Yeah, that's better. That's still a glare. If you move it a little bit further. For those of you online, they're setting up a screen here. And they're trying to keep me from being blinded at the same time. A little more. Yeah, it's good. Let me move myself a little this way. Okay, that's tolerable. Okay. Jaya Kundali Jaya Radha Madhava Niyadi Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paramahansa also Teta Satashi Shimad. His Divine Grace Sabaya Chananada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shiva Siddhi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopinath Sayamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Machuranam Ki Jai. Jagadasami Ki Jai. Yamunamai Ki Jai. Srimati Lasadevi Ki Jai. Samavena Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Go. Oh, glorious the assembled devotees. Oh, glorious to the assembled devotees. Oh, glorious the assembled devotees. Oh, glorious to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Dinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschachate Shatarni. So we are here in Sydney again, doing the Jaiva Dharma class. So let's continue. Yesterday we had a very interesting discussion about the three types of Vaishnavas. What were the three types? Anyone remember?
Kanishta Adhikari.
Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama Adhikari. Very interesting discussion. So, all right, let's continue. So, Magana Timirandasha Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur and Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So, because I have this, still I can see the projector light. So maybe I can put something up a little high on the computers, so that way it won't be a problem if you have a box or something. Okay, that's good. That's good. Because then I don't see the projector, which is blinding me. Okay, so let's share the screen so we can continue reading. And there we go. Oh, you can see. It's pretty nice, isn't it? So let's hold on a second. Continue. For those of you online, we're actually projecting the class on a screen so everybody can read along with me who are locally here. Okay. We talked about that. Okay. So, let's continue with our discussion about prema. The cultivation of a relationship with Krishna is prema, pure bhakti. But the word favorable indicates the other three qualities of a Madhyama Vaishnava, friendship with the devotees, mercy to the ignorant, and indifference to the offenders. So, okay, that's in terms of the Madhyama's qualities. Madhyama worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead and love, that's prema. Madhyama makes friendship with the devotees. He shows merciful to the ignorant. Ignorant means not so much people who are ignoramuses, but people who are innocent and indifferent to the offenders. The second behavior is to show friendship to other devotees who are dependent on the Lord, tad abhineshu. All those people who have developed pure bhakti are devotees dependent on the Lord. The Kanishta Adhikari, thank you. Kanishta Adhikari is not a pure devotee dependent on the Lord, and does not respect the pure devotees. The Madhyama and Uttama devotees are the objects of affection for the Madhyama. You understand? So a Majjhima Adhikari, that means the middle class of devotees, shows affection both to the other Majjhimas and to the Uttamas. In answer to the people of Kulina Gram, Mahaprabhu spoke of Uttama, Majjhima, and Kanishta Vaishnavas, but all of them are counted among the Majjhima and Uttama Vaishnavas. In his definition, none are Kanishta Adhikaris who simply worship the deity. In other words, I'll explain what's being spoken here. That Lord Chaitanya doesn't even consider someone who is a Kanishta to be a devotee. Someone who just considers the deity to be worshipable, but the Vaishnava is not. The pure name of the Lord does not appear. In other words, the Shuddha Nama, the pure name of Krishna, does not appear on the Kanishta's lips. That's what's mentioned here. So all he can do is chant this shadow, Chaya Namavash. That means the shadow of the holy name. Of course, there's an advantage to chanting the shadow of the holy name. Does anyone know what that advantage is?
Is it better than being in non-devotee?
It's better than not chanting, because with Namabash, you get liberation, freedom from karma, and you get an opportunity to perform devotional service. So, does anyone know or give me an example of different types of Namabash? What? No, not people, but circumstances. What?
These Hare Krishna people, they are constantly loitering around, singing, dancing, but still say Krishna.
If you say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Namabash. Or if you're joking, or even, yeah, like you're saying critical things about the Hare Krishna. Oh, Hare Krishna, I see them everywhere. That's Namabash. Or if you go to a hotel named what?
Krishna.
No, another. Yeah, that's true. Another hotel, Ramada.
Ramada, yes, Guru.
If you go to the Ramada Inn, or if a Muslim says what? Haram. Haram, how horrible. Haram, haram. That's haram. That's Namabas. So he's not a. excuse me. He's not a Vaishnava, but he's getting some benefit. He is Chaya Namabash only. Mahaprabhu ordered the Majjhima household Vaishnavas to serve the three types of Vaishnavas. Those who chant the name once, those who chant the name continuously, and those who inspire others to chant when they see that devotee. So, in other words, we're told to offer respect in the mind. If you remember the Nectar of Instruction, offer respect in the mind to someone who even chants Hare Krishna once. Now I can't see everybody, but anyway. That's the problem with being so high here. It's kind of unusual. Next time we should have like a medium thing here, not just really high.
So,
You got something?
I've got something medium there.
Okay.
I can adjust the height like this. Is it okay?
Yeah, that might be better. Because this, I do like to see people. It's kind of unusual hiding behind a screen. Yeah, this is
Is that
good.
better, Guru?
Yeah, this is better. I can see all you Vaishnavas. All right, so, so in other words, we're supposed to, with someone who just chants Hare Krishna once, Namabash, we offer respects in the mind. Someone who continually chants or chants regularly and is Majjhimadikari, we make friendship with. And someone who encourages, an Uttamadikari, someone who not only encourages but inspires others to chant the holy name, we serve that person. Okay, so those who have Namabas wait a second, those who chant the name what? Those who chant the name continue. Yeah, those who have nama bhash are Vaishnavas not worthy of service. In other words, we don't serve them. We encourage them to come up to a higher level, but we don't say, I'm your obedient servant. Only Vaishnavas who have taken shelter of the pure name, the Shuddhanam, remember the Kanishta Adhikaris are not chanting the pure name. The Majjhima Adhikaris are because they've taken shelter of a pure devotee. Such Vaishnavas should be served. According to different grades of Vaishnavas, there are different types of service. Friendship means association, discussion, and service. On seeing a pure Vaishnava, is that raining or something? What?
Kitchen. Pressure cooker.
Oh, pressure cooker. That's fine. What? No, this is fine. This is fine like this. On seeing a pure Vaishnava, one should greet him, respect him, discuss with him, and do all services for him. One should never show hatred towards him, criticize him, or disrespect him on seeing his ugliness or sickness. So, of course, that's mentioned also by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Upadeshamrita and other places, actually Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur too, that sometimes one criticizes a Vaishnava because of past sinful activities, accidental deviation, or some bodily deformity or sickness. We shouldn't think that is a handsome Vaishnava or that is an ugly Vaishnava, because that's seeing the Vaishnava according to the body. The third behavior is showing mercy to the innocent. The word innocent or ignorant, balisha, means a person who does not know the truth, who is foolish. Balisha also means like a kid. He has not received, so it's like we show mercy to children because they're innocent. He has not received any instructions. He has not heard Mayavad philosophy. He has not learned to hate devotees or bhakti because the person has a sense of I and mine very strongly. He has not developed faith in the Lord. Such persons are indicated by the word ignorant. Scholars who do not develop faith in the Lord as a result of their knowledge are in this category. The Kanishta Adhikari, or material devotee, though situated on the door to bhakti, because he is ignorant of, remember, Sambandha Tattva. What's Sambandha Tattva?
Relationships
Between what?
between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the devotees.
And who else? And what?
The devotees.
No, this is when there's three tattvas.
Sambandha is yourself, sambandha with the Lord.
No, there's three tattvas that we discussed yesterday.
Sambandha, Avidya, and Prayojana.
The tattvas under the categories of Sambandha.
Oh.
There's Krishna, there's the Jiva, and there is Maya. Got it. Good. See? Ladies are more intelligent. The three tattvas are Krishna, the Jiva, and Krishna's energy. Good. And the relationship between them. That's Sambandha Gyan, is the relationship between all those. He's ignorant of Sambandha Gyan. In other words, he confuses the Jiva with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and doesn't know about Maya, doesn't know about the spiritual energy, has not attained bhakti. Until he attains pure bhakti, he is also included amongst the innocent. So Kanishta Adhikari is considered innocent. We don't go around criticizing him. When he understands Sambandha Tattva, then he begins chanting the pure name. So this is really important. You cannot chant the pure name unless you understand the different categories and the relationships between them. Very important. He is no longer ignorant at that point. He has attained the position of the Majjhima devotee. So that's really what gets you to the point of Majjhima Adhikari. That you know the distinction between the Lord, his energies, and the Jiva soul. To all these ignorant people, the Majjhima must show mercy. He should treat them as guests, and supply what they need as much as possible. That means prashadam. But that is not enough. He should show mercy so that they have faith in pure bhakti and develop a taste for the pure name. The ignorant are not skillful in scriptures. Thus, by bad association, they can fall. So the ignorant don't even have faith in the scriptures. The Majjhimadhikari has faith in the scriptures, knows the conclusion of the scriptures, but he's not so expert in pulling verses out from here and there. So in other words, he has faith, he accepts the Shastras, but he's not really so expert in argumentation. On the lower stages of Majjhima. One thing I wanted to mention is that these three categories, Kanishta, Majjhima, and Uttama, also have subcategories within them. In other words, there is a Kanishta, Majjhima Kanishta, and also Uttama Kanishta. There is a Kanishta Majjhima,
Yes, Lord.
a Majjhima, and an Uttama Majjhima. And as far as the Uttama Adhikari, that's it. You know, you're either an Uttama Adhikari or you're not. Anyway, thus by bad association they can fall. So, because the Kanishtas are not fixed in intelligence, and the problem with not being fixed in intelligence is that when Krishna's illusory energy starts to attract you, you don't have anything to fight back with. You understand? So let's say you go into a supermarket and you see something you're not supposed to eat. You know, we're not going to talk about meat, but let's talk about eggs or something like that. Then the Kanishta is very sentimental. Sentimental means the mind and the senses. So he thinks, you know, I'm attracted. But the Majjhima, because he knows this, the tattvas, and the relationship, and he knows Shastra to a certain extent, he thinks, I am not supposed to do this because it's not pleasing to Krishna. Whereas the Kanishta may think, I'm not supposed to do this, but he doesn't know the reason for it. He may just think, because my mommy told me not to do it. You understand?
Yeah.
Sometimes if someone's a child, they actually function on that basis. That's why it's called Balisha, like childish. So they think, my mommy, but she's not here. My mommy's not here right now. So it doesn't matter, I can do it. Let me grab that chocolate. I mean, there's nothing wrong with chocolate. Don't want to criticize chocolate. I used to take chocolate. But it's it's not good for my health right now. When I go back to the spiritual world. So anyway, so really that's the difference. So the Kanishta has nothing to fall back on when they're attracted. They just have, I'm not supposed to do it. They don't know why they're not supposed to do it. They just like, well, and so it's very sentimental. Showing mercy by association, the Majjhima should have them gradually hear the glories of the name and good instructions. A sick person cannot prescribe his own cure. What does they say? Physician, heal thyself. He needs a doctor. Just as one tolerates an angry words of a sick person, one should tolerate, the improper behavior of an ignorant person. That is called mercy. Now, what's an example of devotees tolerating the behavior of an ignorant person? From Shastra. Think about it. Jagat Madai. Yeah. Also Magrari and Narada Muni. Narada Muni, he simply gave Magrari the instruction in the beginning, what? No, even before chanting. He said, why do you half kill them? You should kill them fully. So he was preaching according to time, place, and circumstance, and trying to see how much he could
Adjust.
take. Like Prabhupada, one time, this is an interesting story, this devotee Simon Schunder was carving Jagannath deities in San Francisco. So Prabhupada walks in as he's carving the deities, and what does he see on the deities? Anyone know? What?
Cigarette.
A cigarette, a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
And what does Prabhupada say?
That's talking between you and Krishna.
What?
It's a hindrance between you and connecting to Krishna.
Well, what did Prabhupada say to encourage him?
Don't smoke. Smoking isn't good for your health.
He said, smoke one less every day. Prabhupada didn't smash him because Prabhupada was tolerant of the behavior of an ignorant person at that time. So Prabhupada was like that. He would give a step up, but not the highest step sometimes. The ignorant have plenty of mistaken ideas such as faith and karma kanda. It means trying to enjoy through performing all these karma kanda rituals. Someone made the point here yesterday that if you make a mistake, you should do karma kanda rituals to purify yourself. No. Karma kanda rituals don't purify you. They're like an elephant bathing. Kundra Shochara. What's the problem with an elephant bathing? Cindy, do you know?
Again,
Come out and dust himself.
and then again they put dust.
They push the dust. Actually, there's a reason they do that. That helps them scrub themselves. But anyway, the example is given that devotees, if they simply do karma kanda prayaschita, prayaschita is atonement. You know what atonement is, Kana? Atonement is if you do something really bad and you feel really bad about it, then you'll just sit in the corner and look at the corner for 3 hours.
You just sit there and I can't believe I did that.
Yeah, punishment. You were really bad, God. So sit and just look at the corner. But the problem with that is you don't really lose the desire to do it. You just get the desire to do it when no one's watching. Then it's more fun, isn't it?
It depends what it is.
Yeah, but sometimes it's more fun. It's more fun to be naughty and not get caught than to be naughty and get caught. See, confirmed. Okay, so that's karma kanda. Inclination, these are ignorant people, have inclination to jnana, that means impersonal liberation or just mundane knowledge. Worship of the deity with other desires. Everybody knows that prayer? Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Swami Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Give me money, Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Let me open up another pharmacy. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare.
I grew up singing that.
That's good. But actually, you could say, let me serve my guru, Om Jaya Jagadisha. That's all right. Satyanarayan Katha is very popular, isn't it?
Yeah, very popular. South India.
Faith in yoga. We can use yoga to introduce people to Krishna consciousness. Indifference to association of pure Vaishnavas, which is favorable for their advancement. And attachment, here's another one, attachment to Varnashram. Attachment, I'm a Brahmin, I'm a Kshatriya, I'm a Vaishya. Well, no one's enthusiastic about being a Shudra. Or I'm a sannyasi. The same thing. Pridefulness of one's position. If all these misconceptions can be destroyed by association, mercy, and proper instructions, the Kanishta Adhikari can very quickly become a Majjhima Adhikari, pure devotee. Why isn't it moving? Oh, you went offline for a while. When the Kanishta, and we'll continue, worships the deity, there is no doubt that he lays the foundation for auspicious bhakti. You know, it's a foundation, it's not quite bhakti. Since the person does not have the fault of opposing doctrines, in other words, he doesn't have a bad philosophy, he has a trace of faith, the person who worships the deity with Mayavad conceptions, in other words, thinking that the deity is just made of stone or wood, he will not develop faith at all in the deity. Huh. That's all right. We have problems with it. Not my internet. Okay. He is an offender. I'll just continue. Thus, the Kanishta is described as having faith. Shraddha yehate. He has a little bit of faith. The Mayavadi is convinced. The Mayavadi thinks that Krishna's body and form and personality and everything is illusion. I'm getting diverted. The Mayavadi is convinced that the deity is not Param Brahman, is not spiritual, and that the deity is a manufactured form. Where's the faith in the deity form? The Mayavadi sometimes will be worshipping a deity, but thinking this is just a step to become more advanced. To actually, because ultimately I renounce the deity. And Prabhupada said, the Mayavadi also has the same attitude towards the guru. He steps on the head of the guru. He uses the guru to come to a certain point, and then you don't kick the guru away. Some of the Mayavadis, I think Vivekananda said that to a certain extent. Where is the faith in the deity form? Thus the worship of the deity by the Mayavadi and by the unadvanced Kanishta Vaishnava are quite different, because the unadvanced Kanishta Vaishnava at least understands there's God. And the Mayavadi thinks it's a material form to help me advance, but I can meditate on anything. Though the Kanishta does not have the other qualities of the Vaishnava, the Kanishta is called the material Vaishnava since he has Vaishnava quality of not being contaminated with Mayavadi conceptions. Thus, this is his quality as a Vaishnava. By that strength, gradually by the mercy of devotees, he will progress. The Majjhima must show mercy, must show sincere mercy as a pure Vaishnava to the Kanishta. This is repetitive. Then the deities, the Kanishtas, deity worship and chanting will quickly give up the nature of abhash, a reflection, and attain a spiritual form. The fourth element is indifference to the haters. That means envious people. One could consider many types of haters. Hate, dvesha, is a particular tendency. Malice or hatred is called envy. It is the opposite of prema. The Lord is the only object of prema. Hatred towards the Lord is the opposite tendency. There are 5 types of hatred. So you can learn about 5 types of hating people, or hating. One is lack of faith in the Lord. 2, thinking that the Lord is merely a natural Shakti energy, which gives the results of karma. That's very similar to karma mimamsa. 3, not having faith in the form of the Lord. 4, thinking that the jiva is not eternally dependent on the Lord. And 5, being devoid of mercy. These are types of hate. Like if we're devoid of compassion or mercy towards others, that's hate. It's dvesha. Any of these, because the reason that we're here in the material world is because our envy of Krishna. Krishna Badhirmukha. I probably explained this. We wanted to imitate Krishna. We're all little imitation Krishnas. You understand that kind of? Like we like to be the center. Don't you like attention? When someone, like when I talk to you, say, boy, he's talking to me. You like that? And you like to control, would you like to control your parents? Yeah. But would you like them to do what you want?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, all right. So Ishvara Hama Hum Bogi Siddhu Hum Bhagavan.
Sometimes it's good when they do what I don't want, because it's better.
Wow.
Good point. Very
He's
good point.
Majmadakari here.
He's one,
No, I won't ask Keshav that question. Maybe I should. Do you sometimes want your parents to do what you want?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So, Ishvara, I'm the controller. I'm the center. Ishvara Ham Aham Bogi, I'm the enjoyer. Siddhu Ham Bhagavan Sukhi, perfect, powerful, and happy. These are all, this is a verse from the divine and demoniac natures in the Bhagavad Gita, where that are indications of envy towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You're emulating God. Like Prabhupada gave the example that sometimes a little girl wants to emulate or copy her mother, who is cooking, and she says, "Can I have a stove too?"
Yeah.
And she gets like a play stove, and him? He has a play stove? Really? And then, but what he or she cooks in the play stove is not tasty.
Why?
Plastic food.
Plastic ingredients and then we mixing it.
So that's like what we're doing in this world. We have this imitation of Krishna. And what we're cooking or doing or experiencing in this world is not tasty or attractive. So persons contaminated with such hatred. So this is really important. Like if we feel hatred towards anyone, even towards people who are envious or, demoniac, if we hate them, like if you hate Ravan, for example, then that is a quality of envy. I mean, we don't like what Ravan did or does. Well, he's not around anymore. But anyway, so we don't like what he does. Like in the Christian theology, you have Jesus Christ saying, don't hate the sinner, hate the sin, or hate the sin and not the sinner. Interesting, isn't it? So Jesus Christ, there's no hate in his manifestation, no hate in the manifestation or psychology of his divine grace, Srila Prabhupada, or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
It's supposed to be in the tomb now.
It's supposed to be what?
In the tomb now.
The tube.
Tomb.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Jesus, oh yeah, in the tomb. Yeah, he's in the tomb. Yeah, he's... but he's an eternal soul like you and me. Like if you put, when I leave my body, put my body in the tomb, then you haven't put me in the tomb, right? Because I'm somewhere else. With Krishna or haunting you. Trying to get you to, trying to chant you to get you to chant. Persons contaminated with such hatred are devoid of pure bhakti. They're even devoid of the door to pure bhakti. This is really a heavy statement. If you have the hatred that's mentioned above, you see these two things? 5 things, sorry. Then you're devoid of the door to pure bhakti. That's a pretty high bar, isn't it? Being devoid of mercy, lacking faith in the Lord, thinking the Lord isn't natural Shakti. I mean, none of us have. Not having faith in the form of... I guess the 5th one would be the one that most of us have trouble with. Being devoid of mercy, of compassion, yeah.
Maharaj, even the first one is very hard. Like having faith. Like
Yeah.
Lord look after everyone from ant to elephant to everyone, and they don't have to earn and have a job and make houses and think
Yeah.
about financial future. But we don't have faith, and we are
No, well, we should look after our job and worry about our financial future because that's what Krishna tells us to do, according to our Varna. Not for sannyasi. For me, I have a different duty. If I start worrying about my financial future and start to put money in my super, which I don't have, then I don't have faith in Krishna. But Krishna's instructions for grahastas who have families are completely different. So, because if you do that, and you say, you know, I'm not going to work a job, Krishna, you have to take care of me, that means you want to make Krishna your servant. You understand? Which shows that maybe not a lack of faith, but like a desire to exploit Krishna, which is actually not a devotional quality. So it's different according to one's Varna. Of course, you do have the example of Srivas Thakur. When Lord Chaitanya asked him, how do you maintain your big family? Then Srivas Thakur said, I have this 1, 2, 3 technique. He said, if I have to fast or not eat for 3 days, I'll drown myself in the Ganges. And Lord Chaitanya said, even if the goddess of fortune has to go begging, you will never be devoid of what you need. But that's Srivas Thakur. For the rest of us, we have to be practical in this world. I mean, just like anything you do, you can't just say, Krishna, let's say here at the Western Sydney Temple, you need to collect money for the temple. Let's give an example of that. You say, Krishna, if you really want this temple, you got to send money. Isn't it? You could say that too, And so I'm just sitting here waiting for the money to build the temple. It doesn't happen. Because there's 5 factors of action according to the Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna is just one of those factors. There's the place, the doer, the endeavor, etc. So we have to endeavor. But really what lack of faith in the Lord, because let's remember the definition I gave of faith the other day. Shraddha Shabde Vishas Sakahe Sudrida Nishya. Believing that if you do what Krishna wants, then everything will be accomplished. That is the definition of faith. Not simply that Krishna has to become my servant. That's not the definition. We understand Krishna maintains one, Krishna protects one. This is Sharanagati, the 2 items of Sharanagati. At the same time, Krishna maintains one and protects one by giving one the intelligence and facility to do that. Like Prabhupada gave the example of a man. There was a big storm, like we had the floods here in Sydney. The big storm, and the water was rising, and he was in his house, and the government sent a boat. And so they said, please jump in the boat. And he said, no, God is going to protect me. And so the water kept rising, rising, rising. He has to go to the roof of the house. I've seen that actually in New Orleans. People were on the roof of their houses. And the helicopter came, lowered the rope, and said, grab onto the rope. Actually, they don't say grab onto the rope. They lower someone else down to grab you. That's the way they do it. And he said, no, God's going to save me. So the water rose, 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 and he died. And he went back to God. Somehow or other, he was a devotee. And he said to God, why didn't you fulfill your promise? You're supposed to carry what I lack and protect what I have. Krishna says to him, you fool, didn't you see the helicopter and the boat I sent for you? So really that's the point. Man proposes, God disposes. So that answers your question. But lack of faith in the Lord means to believe the lack of faith that if I do what Krishna wants, then everything will be accomplished. So Krishna wants you to maintain your family.
So is it why maybe Krishna asked Arjuna to rather fight.
Yes.
Because of his varnashrama.
Yeah, because of his duty. Krishna wants you to do your duty. Krishna kills everybody. He certainly could have killed everybody in the Battle of Kurukshetra without any problem. However, that's what Krishna wanted. You know, in the beginning, Arjuna was thinking, you know, Krishna, you know, you just take the whole thing. I'm just going to take sannyas. But this taking sannyas, or renouncing, is renunciation in the mode of passion, according to Krishna and Gita, where something is difficult, and you just want Krishna to do it for you. Krishna gives 3 types of renunciation. Renunciation in goodness, renunciation in passion, and renunciation in ignorance. So, that's important. So, lack of faith means that I don't believe that if I do what Krishna wants, then everything will be accomplished and I'll be happy and I'll be Krishna conscious. I believe that I have to come up with my own plan that's opposed to Krishna. Certainly we have to plan, and certainly we have to come up sometimes with our own plans. But those plans should not be opposed to Krishna's instructions. So one Grahastha maintaining his family according to Dharma is not against Krishna's plan. So anyway, it's time for questions. Hold on a second. And we will allow people to ask us. We'll stop sharing. Someone asked a question in the chat window, which, if you open up the chat window there, you're going to be able to see the questions. I stopped sharing, and I also have to enable the participants to unmute themselves. Oh, you went offline again? Oh, that's good. Okay, so here's a question from one of your constituents here. By Chaitanya. Hare Krishna Gurudev. You can read it?
Yes.
Yeah. Just like the mixture of the modes of material nature always play the individual's behavior, does that also apply for the different categories of devotees? In other words, can a Majjhima Adhikari devotee at times manifest qualities of a Kanishta or Uttama? Wow, what a question. If he's on the lower stages of Majjhima, sometimes that can happen. As far as manifesting symptoms of a Kanishta, he shouldn't do it. He shouldn't do it. Uttama, sorry, he shouldn't do that. That's not a good idea. But sometimes, you know, he'll slip a little bit and he'll manifest some symptoms. Yes, that may be. That's a good question. So, all right, who else has a question? Anyone here, or should we take online? Yes, Keshav.
So talking about like financial stability and all that, I know it's not a problem for me yet, but like how do you know it's enough and it's not becoming green? So like how do you know
Well,
what you're doing?
there's the question of over-endeavor. There's a
Yeah.
question of, first, there's 2 things. Over-endeavor, that if you lose sight of your sanity and Krishna consciousness by trying to make all that money, then that's also greed.
Yeah.
And another thing is, yeah, so the money should come. I'm not saying that one shouldn't endeavor, one should work hard and everything like that. But the money should come without one having to neglect their sanity, relationships, and Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
Not only Krishna consciousness, like if you destroy your family relationships and don't have time for doing things that are, you know, you need recreation, you need a balanced life. According to Krishna, according to Krishna, we have to have balanced life. You know, recreation, sports are good. So you have to have time for sports. You have to have time for, you know, relating with people you love. These are all important things, and also chanting Krishna's name. So that's one type of greediness or over endeavor. Another way is that if you accept basically more facility than you actually need to be comfortable. For everybody, it's different. You know, let's say you decide, I would really like to have a 20-room house, and you only have, forgive me, but you only have one wife and 2 kids. This is not, I'm not predicting anything, you know, so don't worry. It's not a prediction. I'm just doing a theoretical here. So you only have one wife and 2 kids. So what do? Sleep in a different bedroom every night? This is a practical understanding like that. When you could be using that money for something better, like buying yourself a private plane. No, but something better, helping someone. Helping someone. I mean, just like myself, everybody knows, let's say give you an example that happened recently. My suitcase handle broke on the suitcase handle. So I was just thinking, I'll fix the suitcase. And everyone was saying, we'll buy you a new suitcase, we'll buy it, which they did. So anyway, but my mentality is that I can easily fix the suitcase for $20 myself, because I know how to do it, I've done it before, suitcases, rather than having all this, so there's an idea for conserving Krishna's energy. But I also accept the devotion of the disciple who bought me a $10,000 suitcase, with gold and gold and several tracking devices. No, I'm just
AI will get.
AI.
AI with the chat.
A suitcase I just talked to it, and it follows me to the airport.
Just like,
With the AR.
But he's doing it out of devotion, so I accept that. But if it was just me, the example, I'm not saying he did everything right, but if it was just me, then that would be actually just taking advantage or misusing the resources, because I can do so nicely with it, just fixing the handle. But there's other extenuating circumstances, such as, his desire to serve, which is great, and I accept it, and everything like that. So that's an example. There's many things. For example, like in my car, so I got the Model 3. I didn't get the X or the Plaid. Because my brother is the one that got it for me, so he probably would have gotten the Plaid if I had asked for it. So I just got something practical. You know what the Plaid is? That's the fast one.
That's the sports version.
That's a sports version. So anyway, so Dibs, someone sent me a congratulations for the suitcase. On the internet. So, in other words, we want to conserve the Lord's resources. It's like, nowadays, of course, that's very popular too, to conserve the resources of the earth. You use the least resources possible. People want to get cars that use less petrol. We have these LED lights
Yeah.
that use less electricity. We're concerned about that because global warming, it's misuse of the earth's resources.
So,
Okay. All right. So other questions? Yes.
so my parents, like they always say to me, like, if you're doing something like big, like do it for Krishna, like.
If you're doing something bad, do it for Krishna.
No, not bad. I said like doing something, do it for Krishna,
Yeah.
and like sometimes if I get an award or something,
Do it.
they have me offer it to Krishna.
That's good.
How do you get in like the mindset that like you're doing things for Krishna?
That's actually a good question. How do you get in the mindset you're doing it for Krishna? Well, you get in the mindset because if you don't think like that, your parents will get upset with you. The way you get in the mindset is you somehow or other you have to connect these things with pleasing Krishna. For example, let's say, all right, so you get an award, then at the same time you're thinking, Krishna gave me the intelligence or the strength. It happens to be a sporting award. So you glorify Krishna, which is service. Service to Krishna means hearing, chanting, remembering, isn't it? And other types of service, that serving the lotus feet, absolute surrendering to Krishna, becoming a servant of Krishna, becoming the friend of Krishna. So you're glorifying Krishna in your mind, thinking, wow, thank you, Krishna. You know, giving thanks to Krishna. So that's how you can connect it to Krishna. Because Krishna's giving me, you know, if it's an award for academic pursuits, then Krishna's giving you the intelligence. Or if it's an award for sports, let's say Kesava wins the volleyball tournament. Then you think, Krishna gave me that ability to dunk or spike. Thank Krishna. And that way you're glorifying Krishna like that. And also, Krishna is allowing me to be prominent in some fields, so it gives me a position whereby I can influence others. You know, people respect me, and not that one's interested in respect just for the respect's sake, but one is interested because people will look up to that person. And they'll say, how did you do this? Because I'm a devotee. Anyway. Good question. Very, very good question. Okay, here's another question from Lord Brahma. See Lord Brahma there?
Yes, ma'am.
Brahmaji. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble. You said, believing that if we do what Krishna wants, everything will be accomplished in acting on this matter. So how do we know what Krishna wants? I mean, there's Shastra conjunctions according to our Varna and Ashram, like Arjuna's. And then also, we associate with the devotees, we have the spiritual master, we have common sense, you know, all sorts of ways to figure that out. So, that's an easy question. Okay, I think it's time, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh my God. Time passes quickly when you're having a good time. So thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.